Hello, guys. We are back with another preview. Hope you are well. And we have got Wads on, so good morning, Wads.
Morning, Dan. How are you?
I'm very well, mate. How are you?
Very good. Glad the transfer window's out the way now, and particularly the Man City game. Focus on getting this team together, and hopefully some more winnable games coming up. So, yeah,
Mm,
good job to get that out of the way.
it is. It has been quite a week, to say the least.
Yeah,
Losing Spurs, then obviously having Man City, then the transfer window. It has been a week where it probably will be the toughest week we had so far, to be fair, don't you think?
it's been very full on.
Mm.
Playing probably the best team in the world, and then a team that are looking very, very strong in Spurs, and then some of the, I mean, we'd already signed a ridiculous amount of players, and then suddenly we were linked with another 5 players on deadline day. Like, you know, Bolly was linked quite a while ago. Bowler's been linked for ages, obviously. Aurier has come out recently as well, but yeah, to just I just think it happens every single window. We just happen to sign someone that we haven't been linked with the entire summer, and that happened again yesterday with Loic Bardet. We were not linked with him once, and then suddenly reports from Fabrizio Romano of all people saying, "Yeah, he's set to join Forest." I'm thinking, "Oh right, okay, that's good then." On loan with the option to buy, thankfully. So it's good that we don't want to be in a situation like we were this summer where we had to replace loans. We didn't have that option. Thankfully, this time we do immediately. So we've managed to sort that out. And obviously, the only other loan we've got that isn't an option to buy is Henderson. But I think his situation is pretty different to all the loans of last season. Henderson's a goalkeeper, so he's not going to get past. Well, I don't think De Gea is what he was, but I don't see him being United's number one. And if Dubravka was to stay at Man United, that's another keeper he's going to try and get past. And just given the fact that he's bad mouthed United as well, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't stay with us. And he clearly loves it here. So yeah, I don't think we should be too worried about losing players finally, because every season we've had so many loans. It's just nice to have that security now. But yeah, hectic day, of course. Few interesting transfers. Bola coming and then being loaned out to Olympiacos was a bit of a surprise, but I actually think it kind of makes sense because he was at Hull and he was at Blackpool. That's not the level we're at anymore, and it isn't the level Olympiacos are at. So I think really he's still a young player. He needs to develop. He needs game time. He's not going to get that at Forest. I don't quite know Olympiacos' situation, but if he's going to get more game time there, then send him there. And obviously, the Group League isn't the Premier League, but it is it is a higher caliber than the Championship because he's going to play in the Europa League as well. And this is all going to be good for his development. And if the worst comes, that is relegation, then that's a perfect player for the Championship right there. Like, he is everything you'd need in the Championship. And straight away, we've got a player coming back that we know can do it in the Prem and will definitely be able to do it in the Championship. So, yeah, I think on the surface, it looks a bit strange, but I quite like that Bola transfer. But, yeah, lots of new players to get used to.
Yeah, I agree 100% with the Bowler situation, that learning them out, because you won't get that game time with us at the minute, especially with the players we have got there and the calibre of players. It makes sense for him to go out and learn to Olympiacos, even though I know a lot of people might think Olympiacos were giving him players, but in the bigger scheme of things, like you said, you'll get that game time. Olympiacos, quite a decent standard. You get European football as well, so overall, it is logistically a really, really good deal to have done.
Definitely, yeah. If we are lacking options, we can always recall him in January. So he could end up coming back a bit earlier, but he's our player. I don't know how many years he's signed for, but he's still a young player. and he didn't cost that much compared to what we've been spending this summer. So it's not much of a risk, to be honest. We've wanted him for a while, and I think that's another reason why it's a very good signing. I don't think anyone thought it would happen quite like this. In January, we thought he was going to come in and be one of our main players, and it didn't happen. And then we ended up getting him in the deadline day in the summer because we're now a completely different kind of side. We learned him out. It's mad how things change in that respect. It's been an absolutely mental few days and few months on and off the pitch. But yeah, another very good signing. I kind of feel like though that because we've let Mighton go out on loan, maybe it would have been worth keeping Bowler because Mighton was one of the few wingers we had, and you would have thought Bowler would have been a good replacement. And I think if we were to get Cody Gakpo, if he did have come in, I don't see us loaning him out. So I think maybe because it is Bowler, we wanted to loan him out. So maybe we've had to do it slightly differently to what we wanted to, but I think ultimately it's a man we've wanted for a long time now. At the end of the day, we've got 3 excellent strikers. Brennan can play up there, and so can Gibbs White. But ultimately, Gibbs White and particularly Brennan and Lingard, they can play out wide. So it's not like we haven't got wingers. So yeah, I think we'll just have to improvise with them. And Dennis can play out wide as well. So I don't think it's too much of a worry, to be honest, that we've loaned Bowler out. I think it'd be good for his development.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you said, the guy from Chelsea, that one was a proper deadline day deal. Like, it just came out the blue, and I
Yeah.
thought that'd be some statement if we get him in. Unfortunately, it didn't work out because of whatever
Yeah.
reasons, but it would have made a statement of our intent if we got him in.
Yeah, it would have been a typical signing, wouldn't it, on deadline day, just out of nowhere. You'll link with someone that's, well out of favour at his current club, but still has quite a lot to offer, probably. And when I saw it, I looked at it and thought, what on earth is going on here? Because, he's been there and done it before. He's a good player. He's played in the Premier League for a long time. He's been loaned out several times from Chelsea. He's never had a consistent run of games there. I mean, he's been at loads of clubs. He's obviously at Palace quite recently on loan. I know he went to Dortmund a few years ago. He's been quite a few places now and done well. But I didn't really know whether I wanted him or not because we already had 3 strikers, and I was worried for Sam Surridge if Batshuayi came in. It would definitely be. It would have been a great option in terms of experience and incredible depth. But in ways, I was kind of pleased it fell through because I didn't think it was imperative we signed him, and I kind of felt like maybe we were just signing players for the sake of it at this stage. But obviously Cooper thought we needed someone else. But yeah, I think I'm happy with what we've got, to be honest.
Yeah. And that's and that and Dan Man can do it. Oh yeah. Why I don't know. But yeah, couldn't agree more. Keith saying about I think Henderson was the best man on the field because the back three we had was poor. I mean Henderson, to be fair to him, since he has came in, he has been unbelievable with the saves made, the penalty saves, and it's a proper really good signing, and he's getting that. We're getting the benefit of that loan move now. I mean, it's Man United lost for us.
I knew he was a good goalkeeper, but having watched him play, in front of me and just on TV, he is an exceptional goalkeeper, and I think he deserves to go to the World Cup. To be honest, I think he's doing that well. There's lots of competition. Pickford's obviously great. Pope, Ramsdale's doing great for Arsenal, but I think Henderson's got a real conversation there, and he has played for England once, so I don't think it's completely outlandish. I mean, if he went, I don't think we should worry about injury because he's probably not going to play, but I just think he deserves to be in that squad. But that's another subject. I think he's been absolutely outstanding for some of the saves he's pulled off. All the players we lost in the summer, I think they were all expected, to be honest. Maybe I thought one of Graben or Lolly were going to stay around, but they didn't ultimately. It's probably the right decision. Move on from those two. But the one that was a shock was definitely Samba. And it's still sad that he has left, to be honest, because of what he did for us, and especially in that penalty shootout that will never be forgotten, that moment. At the end of the day, Henderson he is a massive upgrade. Brees is great, but Henderson's something else, and he clearly loves it here. I'd say it's difficult to say anything about who had a good game against City because it's City. I think you can criticise everyone to some degree. I'd probably say Nico was one of our better players. I thought he did really well in a very tough situation. Actually won the ball quite a lot, saying it was Man City. So I think, again, he's proving his worth. It's difficult to criticise anyone else because if just who we're up against. It's just one of those games. We're going to get this season. We're going to get games where we just think, well, you just got to accept the opposition are just too good. Now, obviously, if we keep losing to them, it's going to get frustrating. We do want to try and beat one of them at some point. And, thankfully, we don't have a load of really, really difficult games at the end of the season. But if our last 4 matches were all the top 6, then based off that would be a bit screwed. We'd have to up our game. But it's not impossible to beat them, but it's just obviously very, very difficult, particularly Man City. Point is, though, don't think we can read too much into it. It's games like, Bournemouth are a lot more, they're the bread and butter games. They're the ones that really matter to beat the teams around you at the very least, because you're probably not going to be hugely above Bournemouth. I don't know, it might be. But ultimately, they're one of the weaker teams in this division, so we're going to be beating them. And thankfully, we do have other games coming up as well. Leeds, Fulham. Leeds and Fulham have done a lot better than I expected them to this season. So they're going to be harder than we first anticipated, but they're not Man City, so there's still going to be a chance of winning. And obviously, I think in particular, Leicester and Aston Villa are very, very winnable because Villa are looking really strange at the moment, particularly at home. I think we can beat them. Leicester away is not going to be easy to beat them away, but they're looking really poor as well. So overall, we've got some very favourable games coming up, and I don't think we can read too much into the last week. But it's all a learning curve, really. I think that's the best way of putting it.
Yeah. I completely agree with what you said then about all the won the games and all that. I think you nailed it on the head for me. And you answered my next question already with it. So I completely agree. I mean, now the transfer window's done and all that, and actually you said it earlier that we can settle now with this squad and we can start to build on what we got. I mean, there was the Daniel Taylor tweet earlier saying that there were 21 signings in and 22 out. I mean, the big changeover of players has been thingy, but we knew, we said it many times this pre-season that we knew we needed to do it, and all the pundits can have a moan about us, saying that we've done this, we're doing the Bournemouth, but overall we needed it, and now hopefully that keeper has that squad that he wants, and he can start to build ahead of this next one of the games and the international break. I know a couple of players will go out, but they will have that week just to gel, and we can start to see improvement. I mean, that doesn't come out one then, but the improvements and all that on the results and the team and how we play will be a lot more better now that we have got that set players.
Definitely. Yeah. We needed a settled squad. It's always going to be difficult to obviously do that with bringing in so many players. But this is the thing, the whole of the season where we got promoted, I think everyone knew we were going to have a bit of a overhaul. Not because we've been bad, but because we knew these players were going to leave. And I think the reason why it's kind of frustrating from a Forest perspective is we have done this the last several seasons. We've had a big overhaul of players, but they're very, very different situations. Those previous seasons were because we kept failing at getting promoted, and definitely not good man management when it came to who to sign. It was a bit of a disaster at times. This time it's completely different. It's because we're in the biggest league in the world. We had a lot of players in there that weren't good enough. The starting 11 last season was excellent, but the depth just wasn't there at all. We had Spence, and then we didn't really have anyone else besides Richard Larea, who didn't really fit the league, to be honest. And then the midfield we have Yates and Garner, and then after that it was like a Hader, Cafu. That they're never going to cut it at this level. So it had to be done. I think even then, I never expected 21 players to come in. I thought it would be about 12 or 13 or something. So even I am surprised how many we have signed. But I think ultimately it's probably it is the right decision. There's a few names that you look at and think, if we hadn't signed him, would it have been a disaster? Probably not. I'm talking the likes of Hwang and Aguilera, those two that was just signed and then loaned out straight away. I think Aguilera makes sense. It's a young player. Don't know anything about him, but it's one for the future. Hwang, I think he's definitely more for Olympiacos than us. I don't think he'll ever play for us, to be honest. So I don't think we can really count that one. And we've signed 21 players, but it's actually 18 that we've signed right now, because 3 of them have gone out. And like I say, I don't think Hwang will actually play for us. And Aguilera is probably more of a youth player. And Bowler, I think he will play for us quite a lot in the future. So yeah, it had to happen. We had no choice. And ultimately, we are in a much, much better situation than we were last season. Even with the form we're on, the squad's better, and we're in a bigger league, which is what we all worked towards last season. So I think I've struggled a little bit this summer because I'm sad that we've lost that squad that got us up, because it's a team that got us into this situation. It would have been fascinating to see how that team plus a few players would have done. If we'd kept all the low knees and then just added a few to it, how it would have panned out. I think it would have been really interesting. But end of the day, we had to move on, and we've moved on to better things. And it's difficult seeing Garner wear an Everton shirt, but we've signed some excellent players to replace him, and it's a bit of a weird situation at the moment. A lot of change to a very well-liked squad and talented squad, but it had to happen, really.
Yeah, and now we have got that better squad depth. I mean, you put in Twitter last night, and I had to giggle to myself about, after this transfer window, we still got Harry Hart at the club.
Well, he's going to play a huge part, so you know what I mean.
I had to laugh at that tweet last night, but it is true. We have to see that.
Can't believe we still got him, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, on the Man City game, it was a lot of people said of 3-8. I mean, a lot of the keyboard warriors was that as well, which you expect. But I mean, Man City was just a different level to us. Like they're 2 or 3 levels above us, and Haaland, I mean, watching him flesh for the first time, like properly, bar watching it and miss of him, it's just another player.
He's not human, Haaland. I don't know what he is. You just can't compete with that. Like Haaland. They had De Bruyne on the bench and they just casually brought him on when it was 5-0. That's just pure luxury. Cancelo absolutely run us ragged the whole game, the whole team. You just can't compete with that. And being in the Premier League, especially the level we're at, you're going to have to accept you're going to get battered a few times. But at the same time, we are going to win a few games you wouldn't expect us to beat. You know, we will beat one of the top six sides this season. I'm pretty sure of that, and
Be,
it
be
will
Arsenal.
certainly be at home. So
Be Arsenal. Be on,
yeah, yeah,
be on the Arsenal documentary again.
probably. No, I'm pretty sure we will get at least some points of the big six, but we're also going to get a few hidings from them as well, like yesterday or Wednesday. You know, it's going to happen. It's, you know, the golfing class. You know, it's within each league. There's mini leagues. There's the top six. There's the teams that are chasing them. Then there's the teams that are just not fearing relegation, but they kind of like just all it, just basically the mid-table. And there's like all the teams that are constantly going to be at the bottom end, and you know we're not even close to those top six sides.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, that's the thing, and in that sort of mini bottom league, we have got Bournemouth tomorrow, which I mean, they ended our automatic promotion hopes last season, and they beating us start of the season under, and it was a tale of two different games. I know it's last season. It was
Hmm.
tale of two different games because obviously we have that certain manager in who's not with us now, and then we had Cooper, and it, in that first half we could have won it, but we didn't, and now we got them again this season, and they sat Scott Parker, where they got beat by Liverpool that they did and drew against Wolves. So tomorrow will be a very, very different game. Great comments coming in as well.
Yeah,
But I mean, Bournemouth. I mean, it'd be two sides who thinking, yeah, they got to be going for it.
I know it's only 6 games in, but I am quite nervous about tomorrow because I just feel like we have to win that game because having lost the last two in the way we have, don't think we can really afford to lose to Bournemouth. And it's not doesn't mean we're going to get relegated if we lose tomorrow, but I just think they're the worst team in the league for me. You know, if they're going to sack Parker and the way they did, kind of a bit of panic stations for them. And the fact that we saw them as one of the hardest teams to play last season and this season they're one of the easiest says a lot about how strong this league is. You know, the way they played us in what was it, May? It was something like that. It was May. You know, they deserve to beat us. Really, we should have got something from it, I suppose, the way it went. You know, that sort of penalty claim, for instance. But yeah, be a completely different game to that. Bournemouth don't have a manager, which can always be a bit of a dodgy situation. And they didn't beat Wolves, to be fair. It's difficult to say, to be honest. It's a completely different kind of game, nothing close to Man City. So yeah, it's a huge opportunity for us. Thankfully, we do have quite a few games now where they'll still be difficult, but we can at least compete with those teams and not just get rolled over if we make one mistake. We concede from our own our own free kick. So yeah, it's it's just you're gonna get these games, aren't you? You know, get games like this, and then you're gonna get Man City a few days before where you got no chance basically.
Yeah, Keith said about Bournemouth and friends match I imagine you're going to say opinion, but I think obviously they got Keith Moore, and Keith Moore, that sort of striker, always scores against us regardless, and
Yeah,
he's that sort of striker. I think it does me. I mean, you love him to play for us, but hate him if he don't play for us.
yeah. I mean, given the fact we've gone up against Kane and Haaland before this, we shouldn't really fear more. But he has got a history of scoring against us. And, you know, it's weird because Bournemouth are one of the easiest teams to play in this league now, without a doubt. But if you look at it, since they got relegated to the Championship,
Mm.
you know, that season where there was no fans, they beat us and they drew with us. and then last season they beat us both times. So in 4 matches we haven't beaten them. So that's they haven't got the best record against them in modern times anyway. Going back a bit, before they were in the Premier League for the first time, but the last 2 seasons we haven't got the best luck against them at all. But again, it's a completely different kind of game this weekend compared to them.
Yeah. What sort of team would you put out? I mean, would you bring in the new lads, or would you put back in, or would you change? What sort of what you thinking about the team?
I'd probably go back to playing a more attacking midfielder. I like the fact we went Foyler over Ryan Yates and then City because you got to be a bit more defensive. It's hard to really tell who did well, who didn't, because it was City. There wasn't really any kind of plan, to be honest. I don't really know what it was. So personally, obviously Henderson, I'd probably have to say Loddy and Williams. And then back three is questionable. I think McKinnon and Wall staying for me. The middleman is the questionable one because I think Cook is good. I really like Steve Cook. We really need Niakate back. He's not an option right now. Don't think we can play Niakate there though. But now we've got Willy Bolly and this Vardy guy as well. Like, we've suddenly got unreal depth when it comes to centre back. Plus Duarte can also play there. Even Yates could probably play there at a push. It's mad. It's mad. Given the fact Vardy, I've never seen him play. I never even heard of him before yesterday. Given the fact he's meant to be quite quick, I'd probably say start him. If not, I'd probably just keep cooking there, to be honest. Midfield, obviously, I'd probably have to go. It's difficult, If Mangala's fit, you probably play him. But probably go O'Brien and Yates if Mangala's not available. And then I think the one thing I definitely want to see this weekend, regardless of what, play what you want. But I think we definitely need that target man because we've missed the target man in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
Play either Dennis or Wani, and I think Surridge deserves a shout. But I'd probably go Wani and Johnson, and then probably give Dwight behind. And the fact that I'm not even picking Jesse Lingard says a lot about how good our team is now. It's mad. But I think at the very least, we need that big, strong target man up front. Like we had with Keenan Davis last season. I think we do need someone else that's like him, and we have 2 players sitting on our bench the last 2 games that can do that. So that's probably what I'd go with.
And that's quite good that we can say that we can play Gibbs White in that number 10 and not play Lingard, and that we can either go Johnson and Awani or play both Dennis and Awani, or even play Super Sam Surridge, who we all would love Super Sam Surridge. He's like heaven to us. Like, I mean, Surridge got to be the least unfortunate one. He came on last 3, he scored 2 against Grimsby, then he had 3 minutes football in the last 2 games. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, for me, I would start Super Sam Surridge or start with Surridge up top and actually bring them to one. And
yeah, if you're going to start Sam this season, then the safe bet's against Bournemouth, to be honest. So maybe start him, but he's not quite the same player as Awani or Dennis. I mean, whoever starts, I'm happy with. I think they're all great players. But maybe the physicality side of things, it would be good to play Awani or Dennis.
Yeah.
But, I'm a big fan of Surridge, of course.
And he's still here, which is his main thing. He's still a Polish player.
I'm glad his dad backed us up on that as well today, actually, on Twitter. He did a thing about it, saying thank you for the support. I'm actually bumped into him the other day at the Spurs game, and he just said how much Sam loves it at Forest. So it was really reassuring to hear that from his own dad. So, he's a good guy as well.
Yeah, definitely. What's your score prediction for Bournemouth.
Well, given the fact we've both been hammered the last week by two of the best teams in the world, it's got 0-0 written all over it in that regard, hasn't it? I don't think it will be, though. I think it's difficult with the danger that Bournemouth now have with not having a manager. They're going to be playing with freedom. They're going to look at this as one of the easier games for them because ultimately we're also a promoted side. But I'd probably go like 2-1, 2-0 to Forest. I think we will win.
That'd probably be me with the Echo and Kais because I've just put my speaker up to the microphone, so that's probably my fault on that one. But yeah, I think the 2-1 personally. I think we're going back to last season's favourite 2-1 scoreline. But yeah, I think we just need that. I don't sound like we need it. I think these games we need to win. I just think we need to get that result just to get that confidence and that us going again after playing against two of the top six. So I think a 2-1 sounds good just to get that momentum and that good feeling back. Not saying that it will be a good feeling because Super Cooper, what he does with the squad, it's brilliant. And obviously, they've done it quite a lot last season and they did it after Newcastle, like that. We bounced back, so I think we will all bounce back against Bournemouth quite well.
Well, yeah, we've done that many times in the cup, haven't we? We've bounced back very quickly from defeat, and yeah, I mean, being promoted, you're going to look at those games against the other two promoted teams as 3 points or big opportunity for to get 3 points. So it is exactly that. It's a huge chance for us. I think it's a very good game to have after playing Spurs and Man City.
Yeah, definitely. Do you want to talk about your socials?
Yeah, follow my socials if you want, everyone. My Twitter's here, my Instagram's also just got a picture rads in front of it. And obviously my YouTube, don't come and check me out if you want. I'd appreciate it.
Oh, I do actually turn up and take your echo off, lads. my camera
off. I've got echo cancellation on, but
yeah, same here. So I don't know. I think
we had this problem the day when I went on Bill's channel.
I think it's just Daughter's trying to get a comment in.
Probably.
But yeah, do follow What's Up. Obviously, it's linked for his YouTube channel. It's in the title, so do check What's Up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right. So I'd like to say thank you for watching, guys. As per usual, I'd like to say thank you for watching and goodbye.